Hello Titan fans and welcome back to Manga Horse, the horse that was sick for the last week and couldn't bring you any new videos because I sounded like Gordon from Black Clover. So yeah, I didn't want to subject you to that alongside my funny accent, so I hope you can forgive me for this. Before we'll go on, please be aware that this video will involve spoilers and also my own opinions about this chapter. So, if you are an anime watcher or if you haven't read chapter 120 yet, please continue with caution. So chapter 120 has been released, and indeed, he made a lot of people happy, and some not so happy. I will let you decide to which group I belong. Believe me, you will have no doubt about my opinions once we will finish this review/discussion. And because I am late for the party, I decided to make this video different. So instead of just reviewing this chapter, I will offer you the research I did about, wait for it, how long does it take to a person to die after having his head cut off? Why yes, I actually researched it and probably got myself into some Google blacklists somewhere, but hey, everything for the name of science and Attack on Titan. So yes, I will give you an answer for this question today, and the answer might surprise you. And also, I will give you a little taste of my opinion about the Titan memories and what they truly are. This will be just a taste, because I am planning a much more extensive video about it based on physics. So just like a lot have predicted, the Founder's power has been activated, just not in a way that a lot of people thought it would be, including me. And yes, it is now confirmed that Little Path Girl is actually Ymir, and I must confess that I was wrong about it. I guess mainly because I wished for another outcome or last minute twist that Isayama is so famous for. But, as always, I am open to criticism and I can admit when I am wrong. So apparently I was wrong. Maybe I don't like it, but I sure can accept it. For now, right from the start, we go to Eren and Zeke in Liberio, playing ball and discussing their plan to stop Eldians from ever having kids, and by that, ending the circle of suffering. One thing about it, I really don't understand why everyone, including the manga, call it euthanasia, because euthanasia is the act of ending a life to relieve pain and suffering. The word comes from Greek and literally means well or good death. Zeke wants to change the physiology of all Eldians so they couldn't have children. So this is more like castration or sterilization. And yes, I do realize that it sounds less cool than euthanasia, but hey, I didn't write those descriptions, I'm just letting you know about them. Right after the Liberio scene, we go back to the battlefield, which by now is ravaged by Titans. No Pixies Titan yet. We see Oni-chan Zeke catching Eren's head right before it hits the ground, and that way manages to activate the founding Titan powers. And don't worry, I will tell you all about my research further along this video. Right after that, we get a beautiful scene of memory fragments that I can't wait to see get animated, and if you noticed, the former panels are also introduced to us as memory fragments instead of regular manga panels. Right after Zeke touches Eren, Eren finds himself in a strange place, standing before a giant pillar of light. This strange place looks like the desert, just like the one Ymir found herself in after eating Marcel and gaining the power of the Jaws Titan. Eren then notices that Zeke is being chained to the ground. He then tells him that this is the place where all the paths are being connected to the coordinate, and that he wonders if their previous royal family members found themselves in here after inheriting the founding Titan. He tells Eren that he has been waiting for him in this place for years. Although for Eren this trip felt like a second, we now can be sure that this place does transcend time and space, what gives my theory about the Titan memories and the paths a stronger backbone. And as I promised, a full video about it will be coming very soon, so don't forget to subscribe and to enable the notification to be notified when it is out. Zeke explains that he managed to get in contact with Eren just before he died, And that is how they both, apparently, achieved the power of the founding titan and gained access to this place. While Eren is still processing all this information, a human-shaped figure is approaching them from the distance, and Zeke then tells him that this is actually the original founder, Ymir. When Eren questioned him, Zeke tells him that it couldn't be anyone else beside her to wander in this place aimlessly. He tells Eren that this little girl was the one who sculpted his lower body from soil after being severely injured, and he wonders if this is the place where all Titan's transformation come from. This is a very fun fact, because this could mean that every Titan transformation we see in this show is basically being originated from this place, and because time works differently in here, all transformations seem to be instantaneous in the real world. Just a little side note. I love the amount of lies that Attack on Titan have told us along the years, and I say it in the most positive way, because it makes us question everything about what we are told, and we know that characters did lie to us in the past, so, like a good Attack on Titan fan that I am, I will also question Zeke's saying, and also because we have seen him being wrong before, and we will see it again in this chapter as well. After this introduction between Eren and the founder, Zeke tells Eren that this is the time for him to fulfill their dream and ask him to command the founder Ymir to change all Eldians. But then, we finally get the most anticipated twist. Eren doesn't actually want to go along with his big brother's plan, and rejects Zeke's plan, calling it a joke. Just like a lot I've anticipated, including Armin that didn't believe that Eren will go for such a plan. Eren is still in his mind to save as many Eldians as he possibly can, and not follow his big brother's plan. When Zeke understands this, he cries to Eren and tells him that as long as the Eldians are around, the circle of suffering will never end, and when he asks Eren why, Eren simply answers, "Because I was born into this world." But very soon after, we realize that Zeke suspected that all along and was only testing Eren to find out his true intentions, and right when Eren asks the founder for her power, Ymir passes him by and goes to Zeke. Zeke explains to Eren that he himself achieved the power of the founder because he is the one with the royal blood, and because he is not the holder of the founding titan, he managed to get to this place without being tainted by the first king ideology. And because of that, and after being in that space for so long, he learned how to break the vow to renounce war. And he is actually the one who can command the founder, and not Eren. Eren, apparently, was just a key for him to get there. According to Zeke, this girl is indeed the founder who possesses endless power, but her true form is of a slave without a will of her own, and she just continues to submit to anyone who carries royal blood because she believes they are her true masters. Zeke is determined to show Eren his mistakes and proving to him that his father brainwashed him and didn't really care about him, and was only after his own dream to restore Eldia. Before we go on, I just want to point one thing. Zeke got all this information by himself. He didn't actually speak with the founder, so that still raises the question, is he telling the truth? And maybe, if he is wrong. One very important piece of information about Zeke. He is the most intelligent character in this story, and this is not according to me. It is based on scores that Isayama himself gave the characters, and Zeke scored 11 out of 10. The only character who scored that high is Angie Zoe. Going back to our chapter, after Zeke surprised Eren with the fact that he himself is the one possessing the founder's power, he activated the power to take Eren on a little trip across Grisha's past memories. His plan is simple, to convince Eren that their father brainwashed and used them both in order to get his true goal, which is to bring back the glory of former Eldia. We got to see beautiful moments from when Eren was a baby. We got to see Hannes and Carla when they were still alive. And we also got to see how happy Grisha seemed to look when he was with Eren and his family. But even after seeing all those beautiful moments, Zeke wasn't about to give up. He then showed Eren how his father used his position as a doctor to flush out and get close to the royal family, which I actually talked about in one of my past videos about the epidemic in Shiganshina, and who caused it. So go check it out, because by now it has a very good chance to be true. By this point, Eren very sarcastically told Zeke that he was right, and now he could see things clearly, but obviously he didn't mean it at all. Zeke responds by saying that they don't need to hurry because time is infinite and they continue to go through memory lane. We get to see Kenny giving Grisha the stink eye, and even the moment that Grisha found the information he needed in order to find the Race family chapel. And here we got another piece of new information we never heard about. Grisha actually figured out the place of the chapel years before he stole the Founding Titan. And Eren and Zeke now witness together that Grisha gave this up in order to not lose his family and to spend as much time as possible with them. That of course, until that horrible day when the Colossal Titan broke down the walls. Zeke finally started to come into the realization that his father cherished his second son, and he was wrong about him not caring for Eren. And just at this moment, when they both standing next to their father in the basement, Grisha suddenly mumbles the name, Zeke. Hearing that, Zeke was very surprised, but not as much as when his father actually stood up and asked, Zeke, are you really here? He searched the room, but then he said, no, there is no way Zeke could be this old bearded man, right? It must be a dream. The expression on Zeke's face was beautiful, as he started to realize that his father never really hated him for turning him into the Marley officer, and he still loved him and missed him. And more importantly, he could actually see him as a grown man standing before him. Eren then tells Zeke that it's time to move on to the next memory, and that is where our chapter ends. With all fairness, it was a beautiful chapter that let us have so much information. The only thing that I personally didn't like is the whole supernatural aspect of Ymir and the paths. And like I promised, I will make an extensive video about it very soon. But beside that, the chapter made me very emotional, and as a Grisha fan I enjoyed so much watching scenes with him that we never seen before. Now, as I promised, very few short words about Titan memories. Very short. So, Titan memories are not actual memories. They are moments that happened right now. And put it more clearly, the past, present and the future are all happening at the same time. This will be very difficult to explain in just a few words, but I will let you know that there are theories in physics that supports this and can prove this, like the theory of the illusion of time and much other theories. And I absolutely intend to explain it all to you in the video I promised. So really, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss it. In simple words, Grisha's memories are not actually memories. Eren and Zeke are actually witnessing that exact moment, breaking the barrier of space-time. Not space, not time, but space-time. And this is important, and I will explain it fully, I promise. And one last thing, I promised you this at the beginning of this video. So, how long does it take for a person to die after having his head cut off? Or more accurately, how long after that does the brain keeps on living? The short and boring answer is that there was never a study about it, especially because the only way to test it is by cutting someone's head off, and that is a big no-no in our time. But I will tell you that there were sightings in history when people witnessed this phenomenon. For example, in 1793, a killer named Charlotte Corday was executed by guillotine. A man then took the head and slapped it, and people around witnessed the head taking an angry expression and its cheek blushed. Another case, was when a woman called Anne Boleyn, who was also decapitated, and people saw her head trying to speak after the act. Our brain uses 20% of all oxygen used by our bodies, so when a fatal blow like decapitation happens, it may be possible for the brain functions to use what's ever left of the oxygen for brain activity, but if so, it will only take several seconds. Recent studies even found out that there is a final wave that happens after the heart stops working, a final wave of activity that runs through the brain even minutes after that happens. Maybe the most famous case study was about Miracle Mike, which his head was cut off in such a way that stopped the bleeding and oxygen loss and made him live for no less than 18 months. Yes, this is incredible, but did I mention that Miracle Mike was a chicken? And yes, this story is true and was confirmed by university study about him, so Google it if you want. But this could never be the case for a person because a chicken physiology is very different than humans, and in no case a human can maintain these kind of severe injuries like Miracle Mike did. This is actually a fascinating subject, for me at least, and it's not yet conclusive, so I think the age of Futurama and heads inside tanks is still very far. But if I will translate this study to our story, I would say that after Eren's head was cut off, it still had a few seconds before losing brain functions. Zeke came in contact with him very quickly, and therefore there is a good chance that those brain functions were still active in that exact moment. But don't get me wrong, Eren wasn't actually alive at that moment, or at least his body wasn't alive. But if the condition to activate the founder is related to brain functions, it makes sense why Zeke managed to activate the power and by that also saving Eren. At least for now. And that, my friend, is the end of our video. So I really hope you enjoyed it. And again, I'm sorry for the long delay and I will see you in my next video that will come very soon. But meanwhile, please let me know what you thought about this video, comment, like, tell me your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I will love to hear all your thoughts, so please comment in the video or in my social media accounts. And until the next time we'll meet, let me just remind you all to dedicate your hearts for humanity inside and outside the walls. And may the paths be with you, my friends.